Right now at 5, a 42-year-old man faces terrorism charges after stabbing 11 people at a Walmart.
And we've got another day of potentially dangerous heat across the area. We'll take a look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, flames engulfed 2 vehicles after a crash near Marionville, Missouri.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Monday, July the 28th. This weekend flew by.
It really did.
I feel like I thought that yesterday was Monday already.
Right.
Like it just went by way too fast.
It did. Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't. It's an average weekend, but boy, this one just flew by. Of course, back to school shopping in full swing. We are getting ever so closer to that time of year again, and we are also still dealing with dangerous heat across the area. It just does not want to let go. Let's start with a live look outside downtown Pittsburgh. It looks all right. Very warm this morning. Very uncomfortable already out there. And as we take a look at the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line in Joplin, looking back to the south, looks good as well. Again, for now, just the temperatures that aren't so fantastic. Heat advisories everywhere. This is a very bright orange color. These at the latest will continue through Wednesday on for parts of Kansas and Missouri. These ones at this point expire Tuesday evening, and again Tulsa, they go day by day, so they'll expire at 8 this evening, very likely be reissued for tomorrow. So we're back into that same zone of the 105 to 110 degree heat index values where heat exhaustion is likely, heat strokes possible. Of course, for sensitive groups, it feels a lot worse for them, so you got to make sure you're taking care of yourself out there, staying hydrated, taking breaks, staying inside where you can. I've had the kids over the weekend, for example, I had them out playing like from 10 a.m. to about noon, and then it starts to get too hot. So that's what you got to do. And it's just, it stinks. It's not fun at all. The dry weather is great for folks who do work outdoors, got to get stuff done. It's not raining on them, but I'm sure they could also use it to be a little bit cooler as well. We'll have a few moments of partly to mostly cloudy skies through the morning. Otherwise, we'll just be partly cloudy into the afternoon. Really nothing out there, but there are some changes on the way. I've got some good news for us here a little later. 79 in Joplin, 77 in Pittsburgh. Look at these temperatures. Maybe you don't want to, but we're going to show them to you. Some of them, not too bad. Cassville, 75. We've got upper 70s. We've got multiple locations close to 80 degrees this morning already, and it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Be mid-80s by 9, low 90s by noon, mid-90s for our highs. Again, a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. Breezy, southwest winds gusting to 25, and as I mentioned, those heat index values 105 to 110 degrees again today. This heat does continue, and then there's a little break from the heat later this week. We'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, a normal trip to a local Walmart in Traverse City, Michigan turned into terror for shoppers. A man entered the store and began attacking people randomly with a knife. 11 people were hurt. The 42-year-old suspect is in custody and awaiting arraignment. Lana.
Cell phone video shows witnesses confronting the suspect. One with a gun drawn, as others tend to the victims of a stabbing attack inside a Walmart in Traverse City, Michigan on Saturday.
Everyone that came to try to stop him or tackle him, he started slashing, and he cut 9 or 10 people.
42-year-old Bradford Gilley was taken into custody within minutes, according to the sheriff's office.
Mr. Gilley's history shows prior assaultive incidents as well as controlled substance violations. A motive has not yet been determined.
Investigators say Gilley entered the store armed with a 3.5-inch folding knife and waited roughly a half hour before stabbing 11 people in the checkout area. Tonight, hospital officials tell us one of the victims has been discharged and only 2 remain in serious condition.
Our trauma team made special mention of the care that was rendered in the field by witnesses at the scene, but particularly our first responders that arrived on the scene, and the aid that they were able to render, their expertise, their training, their clinical decisions and triage were nothing short of life-saving.
Life-saving. They save lives out there.
Yes.
Gilley now faces a terrorism charge and 11 counts of assault with intent to murder. Local prosecutors say he could face a judge as soon as tomorrow.
Well, husband and wife are murdered while hiking with their young daughters at Devil's Den State Park Saturday afternoon. A husband and wife are murdered, and Clinton David Brink, 43, and Kristen Amanda Brink, 41, were stabbed on the popular Devil's Den Trail. The couple's daughters, ages 7 and 9, were not hurt and are safe with family. The Brinks recently moved to Prairie Grove from another state. Arkansas State Police are searching for a white male suspect who remains at large. Investigators are asking park visitors and area residents for any images or information about the suspect. The attack happened on the lower portion of the trail in Washington County. And 3 people are critically injured after a 2-vehicle crash on US 60 near Marionville yesterday evening. The collision happened just after 5:45 p.m. with both vehicles catching fire. Bystanders pulled victims to safety before firefighters arrived. Billings Fire responded to assist Marionville with the crash. US 60 remained closed for more than 2 hours as crews worked the scene. 2 medical helicopters landed near the crash to transport the patients. Firefighters from Marionville, Aurora Rural, and Billings extinguished the vehicle fires. An Wyandotte County Sheriff's deputy is killed in the line of duty Saturday afternoon. Deputy Elijah Ming was shot by a barricaded suspect during a civil standby call. A 34-year-old 7-year veteran was helping a woman move from a home on South 30th Street in Kansas City, Kansas. Ming was rushed to a hospital where he died from his injuries. The suspect, 38-year-old Sean Harris, was wounded in the gunfight and later surrendered. Now he's hospitalized in good condition. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation is handling the case. Charges against Harris are pending. Well, a garage fire destroys 3 apartments on North Jackson Avenue Saturday evening. Joplin fire crews responded to the 300 block just before 5 p.m. The flames reached 30 feet high and spread to nearby trees. Firefighters used a defensive attack to knock down the fire. Multiple fire departments provided mutual aid as temperatures reached 105 degrees. All residents escaped safely from the older home converted into 3 units. The entire structure is a total loss. Smoke from the fire was visible for miles across North Joplin. Met's ambulance set up a relief station for firefighters battling the extreme heat. And of course, to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app, available free of charge in the app store of your choice. Just search for the KOAM News app. The American Legion in Miami, Oklahoma has expanded their museum portion of the building, adding new artifacts to honor veterans. KOAM's Mitch Adams visited the museum to find out more.
It's not all local. This stuff comes from across the country.
A newly expanded museum, housed in the Miami American Legion, displays impressive artifacts spanning from the Revolutionary War to conflicts in Afghanistan.
The recent expansion has happened within the last 6 months, where we've added 1,000 square feet to our existing museum that we had. So now we're up to about 2,800 square feet of museum floor space to exhibit.
The expansion aims to honor America's veterans by providing a space where their stories can be told and preserved. It also serves as an educational tool, offering the public a first-hand look at the realities of war through the belongings of those who lived it.
Part of the history of keeping this history alive, well, I got a lot of cool stuff. I have sand here from the Normandy beach that people have taken, that had actually brought back to me from Normandy Beach. I have various medals of different soldiers, and I've got uniforms from World War I. I have money from the Revolutionary War from 1782. I have a 6-pence here. That's the oldest piece in the museum right now, is a 6-pence from 1782.
Each exhibit tells a story of bravery, sacrifice, and the enduring spirit of those who have served.
I've got to talk to a lot of people, watch their faces, and tell me that they did not know this even existed. So it is quite a really proud moment that the work we put in is finally starting to get where they can see some of the stuff that we have.
Reporting in Miami, Oklahoma, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
The museum is now open to the public for tours by appointment. Tours can be scheduled by reaching out to the Miami American Legion. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather coming up on the KOAM Morning News. A $600 billion investment heads to the U.S. economy. The new EU trade deal also includes massive energy purchases. We'll have the latest. Plus, new research reveals how grief affects your lifespan. And high temperatures continue right here in the 4 states. Chris will have a look at your forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. The time now, 5:10. We'll be right back. Well, topping Nation Watch, the U.S. and European Union have a new trade deal. President Donald Trump and European Commission President announcing the framework for a major trade deal yesterday in Scotland. Ahead of the meeting, Trump was threatening a 30% tariff on EU goods if a deal wasn't struck. Jen Sullivan has details on the meeting.
Well, thank you very much. The U.S. and European Union have struck a trade deal. President Donald Trump and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen announcing the deal Sunday in Scotland.
I think it's going to be great for both parties.
Heading into the negotiations, President Trump criticized the U.S.'s relationship with the EU, saying their current trade agreement was one-sided and unfair to the U.S.
We wanted to rebalance the trade relation, and we wanted to do it in a way that trade goes on.
Under the new trade deal, the EU has agreed to purchase $750 billion worth of energy from the U.S. and invest an additional $600 billion into the U.S. economy.
It's the biggest of all the deals.
President Trump had given the EU until August 1st to strike a deal or face 30% tariffs. Instead, this new deal puts a 15% tariff on imports. The EU, which is made up of 27 countries, is one of the U.S.'s top trading blocs. The U.S. imported more than $600 billion worth of products last year from the EU.
The two biggest economies should have a good trade flow between us.
Since tariffs were first implemented in the spring, inflation has ticked up in the U.S. Prices in June rose by 0.3%, according to the Consumer Price Index report, which measures the price change for a variety of items month to month.
Well, I think it's a win domestically because he's obviously gotten something that previous presidents had not.
The Trump administration says the 15% tariff will take effect August 1st.
President Trump will meet with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer later today. And still to come, one coach shows up with energy no matter how late the game runs. Coy Tomlin's daily challenges inspire his father and teammates. Plus, Chris will have a look at your Monday forecast from the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, he doesn't carry a bat or glove, but he's a game changer. Coy Tomlin coaches the Tom Sox while living with autism. See how he transforms the team.
One more. If you've been to a Tom Sox game, it's hard to miss Coy Tomlin, running around the ballpark or calling out some umpires.
Ball, thank you.
He's the pitching coach for the Tom Sox and the son of head coach Randy Tomlin.
What's your favorite part about coaching?
Visitors.
Your pitching calls?
Yes.
Coy was diagnosed with autism at an early age, but that didn't stop Randy and his wife from wanting to give him the best life.
He joins us, whatever I do, he's in my pocket, and he wants to be a part of everything.
From hitting homers in the backyard to following around his dad throughout his coaching career, baseball was a language Coy always spoke.
It is.
The best thing we could ever have done is to get into his world, and his world is trying to get into ours. If you would just kind of let him do and see the things he enjoys doing, and you join with him, he opens up.
The players on the team have done the same, feeding off his presence.
I think it honestly brings a little more juice. Like, it fires up the bullpen a lot, and typically the bullpen kind of guide the way the game goes with the energy and everything, so Coy does a great job at getting them going.
Coy always brings that energy, no matter how late the game goes.
Yeah, last night he was sitting around jumping in the extra innings like midnight. I'm sitting there trying to go bed on the chair, and he's jumping around happy.
He may not have a bat or glove, but he's a game changer in his own way.
If Coy's like that every single day, what excuse do I have? You know, no matter what challenges I'm facing here on this baseball field, and every day, I mean, Coy has it every day of his life, but yet he wakes up every day the same.
Hey.
Break us down. Break us down, Coy. Break us down.
What when I say? Tom Sox. 1, 2, 3.
Tom Sox.
What an incredible coach. Let's head over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Very impressive story indeed. Our temperatures remaining impressive, but not in a good way across the area. We're going to have another full look at your forecast and talk about some relief on the way when the KOAM Morning News returns. Time now is 5:21. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:23 now on this Monday morning, and we're going to start with the future track, but we're pushing it all the way to Wednesday because between here and there, not much to talk about other than the heat, which we will get to in a moment. But by Wednesday, things start to change a little bit for us, and favorably so. And we head into the afternoon hours, so here we are at noon on Wednesday, a couple of spotty showers, few clouds here and there, and then as we go a little later into the day, initially we're looking at some isolated storm development along and east of the I-49 corridor. It's at least a possibility, maybe as early as 3 o'clock Wednesday. These storms expect to be fairly isolated, but they're going to certainly try to get going through the evening. Then, by later into the evening and late night hours, we're going to start to see more thunderstorm chances. And see how quickly that complex moves across the area. Right now, we do not have any severe risk areas highlighted for Wednesday. We don't even have any strong storm risk areas highlighted, which also means that what you're seeing here could potentially change. But we are looking at thunderstorm chances from late Wednesday and then continuing into the upcoming weekend. So will we get this exact complex? Maybe. Maybe not. Still a couple of days out, but it's something we do want to watch just in case this does come to be, because then we could be looking at some strong to possibly severe storms with this activity. Races off to the east-southeast, so it started its day about 5 o'clock in the 8th center. By 10 o'clock, it's now crossed into southwestern Missouri and is exiting northeastern Oklahoma. And as we go overnight, it will continue to push on out of here. And by 1 o'clock, just a few lingering showers out there as we go into early Thursday morning. So that's one piece of good news that we have. The bad news that we have is between here and there, we are still looking at heat index values at, again, potentially dangerous levels, especially for those that are a little more susceptible to the heat. So today, again, 105 to 110. Tomorrow, once again, heat index values 105 to 110. By Wednesday, still 105 to 110, but look what happens Thursday, especially up north. Heat index values, yeah, don't worry about it. Low 80s out there. Now, still hot south of I-44, but this is all courtesy of a little cold front that's going to come in, start bringing us a few isolated storm chances. Now, it's a summertime cold front, so temperatures aren't going to plummet by any means, but they'll start to come back a little closer to normal. A reminder, heat advisories across the area. Bourbon, Crawford, Cherokee County, and southwest Missouri, these run through at least Wednesday evening. For most of southeast Kansas, they run through Tuesday, and as we've discussed before, Tulsa goes day by day, so we'll see if these get reissued tomorrow. I can't imagine they wouldn't, but as you saw by Thursday, we're starting to look at things getting a little better, and as we've discussed too before, a reminder, we have all these extreme heat safety tips on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/forecast, and so long as we have the dangerous heat, we will continue to include those heat safety tips in our forecast page out there. All right, again, a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies out there. 81 to start our day, near 90 by 11 o'clock this morning. Into the afternoon we go. It's hot, it's breezy, mid-90s. Heat index values 105, 110, and southwest winds gusting to 25, but of course it's not a breeze that really does you any good, but it will be breezy. Again, partly cloudy skies initially, then mostly clear skies by late evening and overnight. Just a few clouds out there. Upper 70s, so nowhere near where we're supposed to be. South winds 5 to 10. The heat continues again tomorrow, Wednesday. Then by Thursday, again, north of I-44, a little cooler. South of it, still a little hotter. But then we start seeing a few more of these storm chances, and this keeps our temperatures seasonably hot as we head through the weekend and the start of next week. So just a few more days, and relief is finally on the way. That is a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, the COVID vaccine prevented an estimated 2.5 billion deaths worldwide. Scientists in Italy and at Stanford University looked at data worldwide from 2020 to 2024 and found a significant benefit for vaccination. They also found that the majority of the lives saved by COVID-19 vaccination were people ages 60 and older. Well, it takes an average of 3.5 years to diagnose dementia after the first symptoms are noticed. A study by University College London found more needs to be done to raise public awareness so people recognize the early symptoms of dementia and see a doctor. Timely diagnosis can improve access to treatments and prolong the time people have before dementia becomes severe. And experiencing the grief of losing a loved one can take years off your life. A study published in Frontiers found bereaved people with persistent high levels of grief were more likely to die within 10 years of their loved one's death. Researchers aren't sure why grief may rise mortality rates, but there is a link between high levels of grief and cardiovascular disease and mental health problems. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. Stick around, we'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, the Anvil Axe Company brings blade throwing competition to our area over the weekend.
And lots of reasons to stay indoors as our dangerous heat continues. We'll have a look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, young performers gain more than just stage experience at Rising Stars Camp. They're learning teamwork, making friends, and building confidence.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:31. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Monday. It's July the 28th. We are almost into August. First day is this Friday.
It certainly is.
And August is going to start cooler than where we are right now.
Oh, how about that?
I know,
wow.
Right? That's something. So, hey, but it's all right. We'll take it. We do have the relief on the way, which is some good news. But we still have a couple of days to get through, so which is why aren't we doing axe throwing in here?
Ooh,
just a random
I know why. That's a bad idea.
I guess some of this stuff might be a little pricey, I suppose. But it might be okay. I guess that's a good enough reason. But
don't give him an axe.
It's
oh
an
my
indoor
goodness.
event. It's a good reason to be indoors, and you're going to want to stay indoors again over the next few days as we continue to deal with this heat. Quick look outside downtown Pittsburgh, and you can see we're looking okay. But again, it is otherwise a bit on the, warm side this morning. MoDOT camera 20th and range line showing things a little bit warmer as well out there. Well, okay, you can't see the warm. You know what I mean. All right, it's Monday, man. I told you earlier this weekend went by too fast. Heat advisories everywhere. The latest of these until Wednesday. So again, there are 5 different weather service offices that cover our area. So again, parts of Kansas, Missouri, they run through Wednesday. There's the latest ones in place. Out here, they run through Tuesday evening, and as we've talked about in the past, Tulsa goes day by day. So technically, they expire at 8 this evening. Will they return tomorrow? I wouldn't be surprised. I would be surprised if they didn't. We are in the 105 to 110 degree heat index range, though, and it puts us where heat exhaustion is likely, heat stroke is possible. You've got to make sure you're taking precautions, staying hydrated. And I know there's a lot of construction projects going on, a lot of outdoor things going on. If you have to be outside, again, just please make sure you're taking care of yourself, taking breaks, finding shade. And for those that are susceptible to the heat, kids, elderly, pets, and those with certain medical conditions, really just stay inside as much as you can, at least for the next couple of days. And then you'll be able to go back outside again. All right, so we have a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies to start our day. Should be partly cloudy into the afternoon, where otherwise, as you can see, dry. Also a bit on the breezy side today. Quick look at temperatures, 79 degrees in Joplin, 77 in Pittsburgh. It is a little bit too warm out there this morning. A lot of locations still into the upper 70s, pushing close to 80. We do have some heat index values. They're not significantly higher than this, but we've got locations into the low 80s for our feels like temperatures. It's 5:30 in the morning. It already feels like that, so that's how hot it's going to be today. Mid-80s by 9, low 90s by noon, mid-90s for our highs today. Heat index values again, 105, 110 out there, and southwest winds gusting to 25. Now, I did mention some relief is on the way. We're going to talk about that in the full forecast, and of course, that's coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, Allen County had some Their own celebrations happening last week. Now, part of the Allen County Fair was the Peddlers Craft Fair. Local artisans showcasing, selling their works.
Last year on our first craft fair, we had 12 vendors. This is our second year and we have 45. So I think we're going in the right direction. So we can get the community to support us and come out and enjoy themselves. There's plenty of activities for free. One of our main goals is getting sponsorships and things donated for everybody to participate without having to spend an arm and leg to do so.
Now, this is the second year of the Peddlers Craft Fair. And the Anvil Axe Company hosted an axe and knife throwing tournament this weekend. The event is geared towards all people, whether you're a seasoned thrower or a beginner. Events include hatchet, big axe, hatchet duels, knife and knife duels.
What's nice about it is we have some really competitive throwers right here in our axe house. And so we had 4 of our competitors go to the World Championship. So we competed at a very high level. However, it's built for a recreational crowd as well.
The tournament wrapped up yesterday. And now, of course, you can stay up to date with the latest news, weather, and sports with the KOAM Plus TV streaming app, available on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV Plus, and Roku. It's also available on the news and weather apps as well as our website, KOAM Plus TV streaming app. Young performers are learning more than just acting at the Rising Stars Theater Camp in Pittsburgh. KOAM's Mitch Adams visited the camp and brings us more about the upcoming production.
Creativity takes center stage at the Rising Stars Camp this month. Young performers are hard at work, not only learning their lines and perfecting their acting technique, but also gaining valuable life skills.
We wanted the ages to be 13 through 18, so it didn't matter, what grade they were in, just as long as they were in the age range. And I sat down with the Pitt State Theater staff, and we kind of worked something out and talked to Shauna here at the Bicknell, and we found this beautiful collaboration.
The Rising Stars Camp fosters a sense of community where kids from different schools come together, forming friendships and learning to collaborate in a creative environment.
And we really wanted there to be something more for kids of this age group to do, because these kids are from all over, which is really exciting. They're not all from the same school, so it gives them an opportunity to collaborate with other kids that they can't during the school year and their school shows.
As these young performers prepare for Beetlejuice Jr., they carry with them new skills, friendships, and memories that will last a lifetime.
As much as I love my high school back home, it's great to perform with other people who maybe have different ways of going about things and teaching you things that maybe you wouldn't have ever found out if you hadn't come and done community theater. And just a lot of the friendships that you make, it kind of widens your social aspects.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Kansas, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
Beetlejuice Jr. will be showing August 1st and 2nd. Tickets for the show will be available for purchase at the door for $12. And let's look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Trade talks move from the EU to China as negotiations continue. U.S. and Chinese officials gather in Sweden today. Plus, a new railroad could be set for the U.S. We'll have the details in AgDay. The time now, 5:38. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Well, in Consumer Watch, after President Trump announced a trade deal with the EU over the weekend, China is up next at the negotiating table. U.S. and Chinese officials are holding talks in Stockholm, Sweden today, their third meeting this year. The Trump administration had proposed tariffs of up to 145% on Chinese goods, but the president says a deal is close at hand. Well, a signed 2024 rookie WNBA card of Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark has shattered a record, selling for $660,000. Now that beats the previous high for a women's card. Also, Clark sold in March for $366,000. Now she has been sidelined for several weeks after injuring her groin, and there's no timeline yet for her return. And the Fantastic Four first steps shot to the top of the box office this weekend, raking in $118 million in North America. Now that's the fourth biggest opening of the year, pushing Superman into the second spot after 2 weekends at number 1. Jurassic World Rebirth finished third with $13 million. And that's a look at Consumer Watch. Let's head over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we got another hot and muggy day out there for us, and relief though on the way. Some slightly cooler temperatures and heat index values much lower as well. We're gonna have another full look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Time now 5:42.
Well, discussions are underway that could lead to the creation of the nation's largest railroad. Details in today's AgDay Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's AgDay Minute. Something that could impact the movement of agriculture products across the country. Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern confirming they're in merger talks. A deal would create North America's largest railroad, stretching service from the east to west coast. The potential merger would combine the largest and smallest of the country's 6 major freight railroads. Any possible deal would first need to be approved by the Surface Transportation Board. What are ultra-processed foods? Well, the Trump administration is looking for an official definition. The Department of Health and Human Services and USDA filing a request for information in the Federal Register. Now, once it's defined, it could give the administration greater ability to regulate those products. Now, it's reported that 70% of packaged food in the U.S. are considered ultra-processed. Some believe eating them can cause certain cardiovascular issues along with diabetes and cancer. And a couple in the UK got quite a shock finding a gigantic half-blind pig asleep in their greenhouse. Well, that was a shock. The pig had apparently broken in through their garden and decided to eat all of their carrots before taking a snooze, of course. That's after making a dash for freedom from a nearby farm. Now, the pig named Patrick finished his nap before farm staff arrived with a bucket of feed to lure him back home. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or get updates or at agweb.com.
Let's head over now to Chris for a full look at your forecast.
Yeah, again, it is hot and muggy today, and I promise you, I'm actually here nearly every day. And this is not pre-recorded. This isn't like taped from last week and just re-aired again, because the forecast has been pretty uncomfortable the last 3 weeks now, it seems. But it is going to change, and it is going to change for the better here before too much longer. We just got to get through a couple of days before that. Now, we're taking the future track to Wednesday morning. We're going to start there because today and tomorrow, there's really not much to talk about other than the heat. But by Wednesday afternoon, say about 3 o'clock or so, we could, and I want to emphasize because we are 2 days out, there's still some questions on the exact how this is going to play out. We're looking at maybe some pop-up storms, some isolated showers and storms along and east of I-49, possibly as early as 3 o'clock Wednesday. Now, initially, that activity is, again, quite isolated, remains confined in the eastern part of our area. Then we get a thunderstorm complex. Now, you're going to see it, and it's going to look terrifying on future tracks. There's lots of reds and oranges on here. We don't have, at this time, any risk areas for strong or severe storms highlighted for Wednesday night into Thursday. Could that change? Of course, and if it does, we'll let you know. But we at least are looking at a thunderstorm complex that's going to push in from the northwest. Here we are, 5. It's just getting into parts of Greenwood and Coffee counties, just outside of Yates Center here. It moves pretty quickly and expands pretty quickly, but you also see it almost starts to curve eastward here, at least on future tracks. So by 8 o'clock, we've got Chanute, Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, maybe getting into Columbus, Parsons, Oswego. We've got this complex rolling through. By 10, it races and dives back southeast again. So now by 10, we're on the Missouri side. So Joplin, Lamar, Jasper, Neosho, Anderson, Pineville, Goodman, stretching maybe as far east as Mount Vernon, Monette, and getting close to Cassville by 10 o'clock Wednesday night. It slides on through and then begins to die out very early Thursday morning. So we're going to keep an eye on that. One way or the other, though, we are looking at storm chances for Wednesday late into Thursday. Then some pop-up storms and scattered storm chances through the weekend beyond that. Now, for our heat index values, yeah, they are... I don't like them. I don't like them, but we need to let you know. Today, 105 to 110. Tomorrow, 105 to 110. And for Wednesday, 105 to 110 degree heat index values. And of course, we're stopping close to 5 because, of course, that's around the time we reach our peak heating. But then I want to show you what happens Thursday. Watch north of I-44. Look at what has happened here. No heat index values. Much cooler. Now down south, still a little hot. Cold front's coming in. That's what's going to help with some of our storm chances. Now it's a summer cold front. Our temperatures won't plummet, but they're going to come down, and it's going to bring our humidity levels down as well, bringing some drier air for us. We do have heat advisories, though, that continue at least through Wednesday across the region, and so that's because of the heat. And a reminder, of course, on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/forecast. As you go to our website, you click the forecast. We'll have the extreme heat safety tips on there. A lot of great resources, and as I've mentioned before, we'll keep them on there until we get through this extreme heat. So at any time, they're right there at your fingertips. All right, sunrise looking good. Got a few clouds out there this morning. A mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. Low 80s to start our day and around 90, near 90 by 11 o'clock this morning. We'll be cruising into the mid 90s out there. A bit breezy. Southwest winds gusting to 25. And of course, those heat index values 105 to 110. Skies will begin to clear a bit by this evening. Still mid 80s by 10 o'clock, upper 70s overnight, so well above average with just a few clouds. Then we'll have partly cloudy skies near 100 for our highs tomorrow. Same on Wednesday, and then as you can see, temperatures begin to fall back a bit. Now we're still going to be warm, or just honestly, we'll still be hot, but as you can see, we've got some rain chances, and those temperatures that you're seeing are seasonably hot, right about where they should be for this time of year. So a little bit of a relief is on the way. That's a check of your forecast. We're going to toss it over to Elise now with sports.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, the Joplin Outlaws, riding an 8-game winning streak, are back at Joe Becker Stadium last night for a matchup with the Sherman Shadowcats. Now, Joplin goes for the sweep over Sherman. First inning, Raven Morgan, the plate, gets a piece of this ball, and it lands in the perfect position for an infield single. Then with one out and runners on second and third, Merkel Turner flies one high to right field, and Andre Jackson slides in under the tag to score the Outlaws' first run. Then with 2 outs, Luke Shannon hits one over the head of the right fielder and over the wall for a ground rule double. It's 2-0 Joplin, but the Shadowcats tie it up in the second and have a runner on third with 2 outs. JT Sinigena pops it up in foul territory, and Anthony Mazza tracks it down and makes the sliding catch to end the inning. We head to the third now. Outlaws have runners on the corners with no outs, and Luke Shannon drops one into right. Joplin takes the lead right back and go on to win at 9-4 over the Shadowcats for the 9th straight win. Now in the major leagues, the Royals and Cardinals can both had the opportunity to clinch their series with wins yesterday. St. Louis looks to win its first series since July 10th, but the Padres have runners on the corners with no outs in the first, and Manny Macedoline's a 1-2 right center. Victor Scott makes the throw to second, but it hits, and the runner on first comes all the way around to score. It's 2-0 Padres. Now in the fourth, it's 5-0 San Diego at the plate with 2 runners on, and he grounds this ball past the diving glove of Nolan Arendo. Both runners score. It's 7-0. But in the 6th, Alec Burleson launches this ball to deep center, way back and gone for a 2-run bomb, but it's not enough. San Diego wins the series finale 9-2 as the Cardinals and Padres split the 4-game series. Let's look at sports. We'll be right back. Rescue crews free a bottlenose dolphin calf from a fishing net near Batesman Bay, New South Wales. The young dolphin was first spotted heavily entangled in braided fishing line in mid-June. Multiple agencies worked together, including SeaWorld Foundation, New South Wales National Parks and Wildlife Service, Marine Rescue, and the organization for the rescue and research of citizens. Local community members first reported the entangled dolphin to rescue organizations. The calf is now free to swim normally with its mother. And a colossal $80 popcorn container shaped like Marvel's planet-devouring villain Galactus is offering a unique twist on movie snacks. During its unveiling in Los Angeles, the container drew excited fans to the TCL Chinese Theater and set a Guinness World Record. The mammoth movie snack holder tied to the upcoming Fantastic Four First Steps film measures 20 inches wide and 17.5 inches tall. It boasts a capacity of 341 ounces, enough to satisfy even Galactus's cosmic appetite.
I'm always a big fan of movie theater popcorn. I don't care what people say. I know people say different things about movie theater. It is amazing,
yes.
And you can never have enough butter. All right, like I've said before, I can't maintain this girlish figure on my own, and that's one of those ways that I certainly do that. Today, though, we got a beautiful sunrise, still dangerously hot. Heat advisories in place through Wednesday at the latest. Low 80s to start, near 90 by 11, and a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies out there. Mid 90s for our highs today, southwest winds gusting to 25, and as we head into the evening, still very warm, but skies gradually clearing. Mid 80s by 10, mostly clear overnight, upper 70s, well above normal. Our heat index values 105 to 110 through at least Wednesday. By Thursday, south of I-44, it's still hot. North, it's a little cooler. Thunderstorm chances late Wednesday into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday. And take a look at these temperatures, though. They're dropping back a little closer to normal. Upper 80s, low 90s, and some slightly drier air for at least a little bit. That's a check of your forecast. We've got another hour of the KOAM Morning News right after this.